welcome back to the Carpenters Apprentice. We're here today with Stephen Lucke, founder and CEO of Gardopia Gardens. You can see them at www.gardopiagardens.org. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
Okay, fantastic. So would you like to tell the folks about a little bit more about Gardopia?
Yeah, man. Gardopia was founded officially in 2015, but this dream sort of began in 2012. I was a college student and I started to be educated about the obesity epidemic. I saw a lot of my classmates and just adults and children becoming severely overweight, and it just didn't make sense to me. So I wanted to find a solution. And I believe that eating healthy, fresh, organic produce and being physically active are a great way to combat the obesity epidemic that we are in at this current moment. In addition to that, I started to be more cognizant of our environment and nature and climate change. And I was like, gardening is a great way to mitigate climate change as well by keeping green spaces, promoting environmental sustainability, and connecting people to the outdoors.
And what are you guys doing here today?
Today we are here at Palo Alto. I'm a horticulture student studying organic farming, and I partnered with United Way and Kellogg's and Gardopia to essentially overhaul their garden. We're doing some mulching, we're doing some weeding, we're building a outdoor sink, we're putting up a communication board, just trying to improve the facilities, making it more accessible for the students, and eventually growing more food.
Are you from San Antonio, Stephen?
Born and raised, yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
28 years ago, can't believe it.
What side of town? Where are you from?
I was born on the northeast side, over by Fort Sam Houston, and I went to the NEISD. I graduated, went to Incarnate Word University, and then graduated from there, and here I am at Palo Alto continuing my education.
You know, let me ask you something. We were talking earlier, me and you, about how people oftentimes have these lofty ideas, but then to take them and put them into action is so difficult. What made you do this, man? What made you get out of bed and actually start moving dirt?
Yeah, well, you know, I've always been physically active. My mother was an equestrian teacher, so since I've been like 4 years old, I've always been outside working with my hands and just being outside with nature. So that sort of was innate, and it's just natural for me to do that. But for me to take action in Gardopia, I just saw so many school gardens that weren't being taken care of, and I felt that there was a niche for a nonprofit who could provide sustainability, who could provide help with resources, who could provide knowledge and support to these teachers. Because I always say a teacher's a teacher, a principal's a principal, a janitor's a janitor, and gardening is not in their job description. But we expanded out from schools and we started doing restaurants and hospitals and churches and households because essentially anywhere there's a garden, we can create food security and we can promote healthy lifestyles.
What are some steps people can take themselves to, I don't know, do something like what you're doing?
You know, it's not too difficult. You got to have good soil.
Okay.
Is key. You got to have drip line irrigation. You got to make sure to mulch your garden. But understanding that the garden is an example and a microcosm of life, and there's life and death, and there's cycles, and there's seasons. There's a whole ecosystem and a food web and a food chain. And I think it's a great representation of life just because weeds grow in the garden. And I think weeds grow in your life. And you have to maintain the garden, and you have to maintain your life. You can't just do something once and be like, okay, it's done, right? There's always going to be that maintenance. And so I think that understanding that you're going to have to put a little bit of time and energy into the garden, and as your garden grows, hopefully your life grows as well.
Well, that's fantastic. How can people get a hold of you guys or help out what you're doing?
They can come to our garden every Saturday. We're open Saturday mornings for garden work days and education. They can also check out our website, like you said earlier, gardopiagardens.org. They can follow us on social media at Gardopia Gardens. And also, you know, we are a nonprofit, so if anybody wants to donate, every little bit helps increase our programming.
Man, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for being with us today. We really appreciate you, Mr. Lucke. Good luck.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.